Hello, everyone. This is Chinese animation Xian today. We're going to talk about a very special xianxia work, Sword of Coming. Whether it's the novel or the animated series, this work has attracted countless viewers with its grand worldview and profound philosophical thinking. If you just treat it as an ordinary cultivation story, you might miss too much wonderful content. Today, I'll take you deep into how this world of Sword of Coming is constructed and what worthwhile thoughts lie behind it. Let's start with the origin of this world. The background of Sword of Coming can be traced back to the ancient heavenly court period, countless millions of years ago. At that time, there existed a supreme ancient heavenly court between heaven and earth, ruled by 5 supreme deities. These 5 supremes represented different elements and powers. There was the heavenly court sovereign who controlled rules and order, the sword holder who mastered the sword Tao laws, the armored one representing the earth element of the 5 phases, and the water deity who governed the river of time, and the fire deity who controlled the eternal stars. In that era, the situation of humanity was actually very tragic. Humans were kept as containers for incense, specifically to provide faith power to the deities. Because the deities' Tao had limits, and their golden bodies would eventually decay, they needed to continuously draw incense from humans to maintain their existence. To put it plainly, humans were just accessories to the deities, without freedom or dignity. But it was precisely under this oppression that humanity began to nurture the seeds of resistance. The sword holders spread sword techniques and cultivation methods to humanity, giving humans the possibility to challenge divine power. Eventually, humanity launched the Ascension Battle, completely overthrowing the rule of the ancient deities. This battle was extremely fierce, with both sides paying a huge price, but humanity ultimately achieved victory and gained freedom. After the Ascension Battle, the world underwent fundamental changes. The Earth split into 4 great worlds: Haoran World, Qingming World, Lotus World, and Manwang World. Fragments of the heavenly court became countless heavenly caves and blessed lands, while stars became relics of ancient deities. The 3 teachings and 100 schools began to rise, with Confucianism, Taoism, and other schools of thought gradually forming after the war, becoming important forces maintaining world order. Next, let's talk about the characteristics of these 4 great worlds. Haoran World is the old land of humanity, also the core stage of the story. It is governed by the Confucian temple, with Confucian thought dominating. Confucianism emphasizes rules, regulations, benevolence, righteousness, and morality, maintaining order throughout the world through institutions like the temple, academies, and schools. Haoran World is divided into 9 great continents, including Dongbaoping Continent, Beiju Lu Continent, Ai Continent, Tongji Continent, and so on. Each continent has different power distributions and cultural characteristics. Our protagonist Chen Ping'an's hometown, the Li Pearl Cave Heaven, is located in Dongbaoping Continent. Manwang World is the territory of the Yao race, demons, spirits, with scarce resources and adherence to the law of the jungle. This is a world of the strong eating the weak, forming a sharp contrast with Haoran World. The core fighting force of Manwang World is the 14 throne seats, composed of 14 ancient great demons. Due to limited resources, the Yao race continuously attempts to break through the Sword Key Great Wall and invade Haoran World, which has become one of the important main storylines of Sword of Coming. Qingming World was originally the outer heaven of the divine Tao, taken over by Taoism after the war. The Tao ancestor sits in the White Jade capital, which is the core territory of Taoism and also the place closest to the outer heaven among the 5 great worlds. The core responsibility of Qingming World is to resist external heavenly demons, because the higher a cultivator's cultivation, the easier their Tao art develops gaps, thereby spawning external heavenly demons. Taoists pursue the Tao-following nature with diverse cultivation methods, possessing 36 heavenly caves and 72 blessed lands, with very rich cultivation resources. Lotus World was originally the Hell Realm taken over by Buddhism after the war. The Buddha sits here. This is the holy land of Buddhism, with Buddhas of the four directions stationed, and almost everyone is a monk or believer. The core responsibility of Lotus World is to suppress the netherworld ghost Tao. Buddhism established a six paths reincarnation disc to suppress 10,000 ghosts and maintain the operation of reincarnation. This responsibility is crucial for maintaining world order, because if netherworld ghosts lose control, they will cause huge threats to the human world. Speaking of this, I have to mention the fifth great world that formed later, the colorful five world. This is a new world formed after the old Sword Key Great Wall ascended. During the battle when Manhuang World launched a major offensive against Howran World, the Sword Key Great Wall suffered heavy damage. Half of the Great Wall ascended to become the colorful five world, while half remained in its original location. The formation of the colorful five world marks a major change in the sort of coming world. It is not only a new habitat for the sword cultivators of the Sword Key Great Wall, but also a place of multicultural integration where the three teachings jointly reside. Having finished talking about the world, let's discuss the cultivation system in Sword of Coming. This system setting is very complex, with mainly three cultivation paths: key practitioners, martial artists, and sword cultivators. Key practitioners are the mainstream cultivation group in the Sword of Coming world, with realms divided into lower 5 realms, middle 5 realms, upper 5 realms, and 2 lost realms, totaling 15 layers. The lower 5 realms mainly focus on tempering the body and accumulating spiritual energy, including Copperskin Realm, Grassroot Realm, Willow Sinew Realm, Bone Key Realm, and Hut Building Realm. The middle 5 realms are the stage of spiritual energy connection and law comprehension, including Cave Mansion Realm, Ocean Viewing Realm, Dragon Gate Realm, Golden Elixir Realm, and Nascent Soul Realm. The upper 5 realms are the high-level stage of pursuing transcendence, including Jade Purity Realm, Immortal Realm, Ascension Realm, and the 2 legendary realms of Realm 14 and Realm 15. Martial artists are another major cultivation system, based on physical body and blood ki, without relying on spiritual energy. Martial artist realms are divided in body tempering 3 realms, ki refining 3 realms, spirit refining 3 realms, plus 3 layers of the stopping realm. The body tempering 3 realms include clay embryo realm, wood embryo realm, mainly tempering the physical body. The ki refining 3 realms include heroic soul realm, mighty spirit realm, and martial courage realm, mainly refining blood ki and divine soul. The spirit refining 3 realms include golden body realm, feather transformation realm, and mountain peak realm, mainly refining divine soul and will. The stopping realm is the highest realm of martial artist cultivation, divided into 3 layers: K flourishing, return to truth, and spirit arrival. The legendary martial god realm combat power can match Realm 14 cultivators. Sword cultivators are a special branch of key practitioners, focusing on sword Tao cultivation, with killing power standing alone at the top. At the same realm level, sword cultivators' combat power far exceeds other cultivators. Sword cultivators take the sword as their destiny, pursuing the perfect unity of sword intent and sword heart. Every sword cultivator has their own destiny flying sword. However, sword cultivator cultivation is extremely difficult, requiring extremely high talent and perseverance. Therefore, the number of sword cultivators is relatively small, but everyone is an elite. The sword cultivators of the Sword Key Great Wall have been resisting Yao race invasion for 10,000 years, bearing the important responsibility of protecting the human world. It's worth mentioning that our protagonist Chun Ping'an follows a path of 3 parallel cultivations: martial Tao plus key practitioner plus sword cultivator. The core is entering the Tao through martial arts, correcting the heart through the sword, and protecting the world through Tao integration. This 3-path parallel cultivation path is extremely rare in the Sword of Coming world because simultaneously managing 3 cultivation methods requires investing a lot of energy, and resource demands far exceed single-path cultivators. But the benefit is more comprehensive strength, greater potential, and stronger adaptability. Chen Pingyan started cultivation at 16 when he recast his longevity bridge and became a great sword immortal at 42, taking 26 years. The hardships and challenges in this process far exceed what ordinary people can imagine. After talking about the cultivation system, let's discuss some unique geographical settings and special areas in Sword of Coming. First, we must talk about the Lai Pearl Cave Heaven. This is the starting point of the story and also the birthplace of protagonist Chen Ping'an. The Li Pearl Cave Heaven appears to be an ordinary small town on the surface, but in reality, it's the place where a true dragon fell, one of the 36 small cave heavens with rules different from the outside world. The core setting here is destiny porcelain. Every child born here has destiny porcelain burned that is closely related to them. The burning of this porcelain requires drawing a drop of blood from the infant's heart. Girls' destiny porcelain needs to be burned for 6 years, boys for 9 years, during which the kill fire cannot be interrupted. The quality of the destiny porcelain can predict the child's future cultivation potential. The person holding someone's destiny porcelain can largely control that person's life, death, fortune, misfortune, cause and effect, opportunities, marriage, luck, and cultivation. Therefore, destiny porcelain is both an opportunity and potentially a shackle. When Chen Pingyan was 4 years old, his father, in order to protect his son from being controlled and used by others, resolutely smashed Chen Pingyan's destiny porcelain. This action broke the chain of cause and effect, making Chen Pingyan an ownerless person who jumped out of control, but it also made him pay a huge price. Another important location is the Sword Key Great Wall, located at the boundary between Manwang World and Howren World, serving as an important defense line against Yao race invasion. 18 characters are carved on the Sword Key Great Wall. Only after killing a great demon from Manwang World does one qualify to carve a character. The sword cultivators of the Sword Key Great Wall have protected the human world day after day for 10,000 years, bearing tremendous responsibility. During the battle when Manwang World launched a major offensive against Howren World, the Sword Key Great Wall suffered heavy damage. Half of the Great Wall ascended to become the colorful Five World, while half remained in its original location. This event marks a major change in the Sword of Coming world. The 9 great continents of Hwang World also each have their characteristics. Dong Baoping Continent is an important stage of the story, where the Lai Pearl Cave Heaven is located. Beiju Lu Continent has many sword cultivators and a fierce folk style. Ai Continent is a cold northern region and the production area of snowflake jade. Tongji Continent is a wealthy southeastern region. Jiangtu Divine Prefecture is located in the center of Howren World, where the Confucian Temple is located, ranking first in strength. Each continent has different power distributions and cultural characteristics, together forming the diverse of Howren World. Next, let's talk about the power distribution and power structure in Sword of Coming. The 3 teachings in one family are the ruling core of the Sword of Coming world, including Confucianism, Taoism, Buddhism, and the military school. Confucianism is the absolute ruler of Howren World, with the temple as its core institution, possessing 3 great academies and 72 colleges spread throughout the world. Confucian scholars can resonate with heaven and earth, nurturing righteous ki, and can speak with heavenly authority like emperors, determining life and death and warding off ghosts and gods. Representative figures of Confucianism include the Supreme Sage, the Sage of Rituals, the Second Sage, and the Sage of Literature, among whom the Sage of Literature is Chen Pingyan's master. Taoism is the dominant force of Coming World, with the Tao ancestor sitting in the white jade capital. Taoists pursue the Tao following nature with diverse cultivation methods, possessing 36 heavenly caves and 72 blessed lands with rich cultivation resources. Representative figures of Taoism include the Tao ancestor, the old observer of Tao viewing, Lu Xin, Yu Do, and others. Buddhism is the dominant force of Lotus World, with the Buddha sitting there. Buddhist cultivation focuses on inner enlightenment and the cultivation of compassion spirit, with the main task of suppressing the constantly rising yin underworld. The core institution of Buddhism is the 808 Pure Land Buddha countries, maintaining the operation of reincarnation. The military school is an important force in Jiangtu Divine Prefecture, focusing on solving problems through war and military force, pursuing victory on the battlefield, and powerful combat capabilities. Military school cultivators who achieve the Great Master realm are mostly enemies of 10,000 on the battlefield, especially powerful in battlefield ruins and ancient battlefields. Besides the three teachings and one family, secular dynasties are also an important part of Howren world. The Great Li dynasty is an important dynasty in Dong Baoping continent, controlling the Li Pearl Cave Heaven, and has close relationships with Confucianism. The imperial teachers of 5 emperors are all Confucian sages. Howren world has 9 great dynasties, each ruling a region. These dynasties have complex relationships with cultivation forces, both interdependent and with certain conflicts of interest. Sects and gangs are organizations of cultivators distributed across various worlds. The sword cultivators of the Sword Kai Great Wall are one of the most important sects in the Sword of Coming world. They have protected the human world day after day for 10,000 years, bearing tremendous responsibility. Luobo Mountain is the sect founded by Chen Ping'an, which later became an important force in the Sword of Coming world. The portrait of the sage of literature hangs highest in the ancestral hall, showing Chen Ping'an as respect for his master. Speaking of this, we have to talk about some core concepts and unique settings in Sword of Coming. Destiny porcelain is a unique setting in the Sword of Coming world, closely connected to human fate. Destiny porcelain was created by the young Lord of Qingtong, working with Mr. of Three Mountains and 9 Marquis to reasonably utilize the talent resources of the Li Pearl Cave Heaven. Infants born in this small town each year are given code names, and a drop of blood from their hearts is infused into the Destiny porcelain to be burned later. Destiny porcelain forcibly binds the burned porcelain with the newborn child. 1 porcelain, 1 life. If the porcelain breaks, the person dies. It is not only a means of controlling children, but also a tool for testing and predicting children's future cultivation potential and fate. Chen Ping'an's father's act of smashing the Destiny porcelain symbolizes resistance against fate. Although it came at a huge price, it also made Chen Ping'an an ownerless person who jumped out of control. The longevity bridge is an important concept in key practitioner cultivation, serving as the channel connecting heaven and earth's spiritual energy. Without the longevity bridge, key practitioner cultivation cannot be conducted. When Chen Ping'an was 14 years old, the fairy changing from Yangshi Mountain, in order to cut off his cultivation path, struck his longevity bridge with 1 palm, making him almost become a cripple. Later, Chen Ping'an recast his longevity bridge in the Lotus Fortune Land and began key practitioner cultivation. The recast longevity bridge is more solid, laying the foundation for Chen Ping'an's later cultivation breakthroughs. Flying swords are the destiny weapons of sword cultivators, connected to the sword cultivator's heart and mind. Sword cultivators' destiny flying swords are usually obtained through inheritance, refinement, or opportunity. Destiny flying swords are connected to the sword cultivator's heart and mind, able to exert the strongest power. Chen Ping'an's destiny flying swords include Night Wanderer, Duckweed, and others. These flying swords resonate with Chen Ping'an's other cultivation methods, making his sword Dao more comprehensive. The literary gallbladder is an important concept for Confucian cultivators, representing the moral and beliefs of Confucian scholars. When the literary gallbladder is taken, it means the scholar's beliefs have been struck. Luck is an important concept in the Sword of Coming world, affecting human fate and opportunities. People with strong luck are more likely to obtain opportunities. Cause and effect is one of the core concepts of the Sword of Coming world. Everyone's actions produce cause and effect, and every choice affects fate. Next, let's talk about the economic system and currency system in Sword of Coming. This setting is very interesting. It's a dual-track system of mortal and immortal. Secular currency is the basic circulating currency of mortal society, including copper coins, silver, and gold. Copper coins are the most basic currency of the secular world, used for daily small transactions. Silver is the main currency of the secular world, used for medium-scale transactions. Gold is the high-value currency of the secular world, used for large transactions. Immortal money is currency specially designed for cultivators, with spiritual energy content as the value core. Snowflake money is the basic immortal money, containing a certain amount of spiritual energy, suitable for low-level cultivators. Snowflake money is made from ancient jade called snowflake jade, which has quite substantial spiritual energy content and is a special product of the northern Ai continent. Minor heat money is more precious than snowflake money. 100 snowflake money can be exchanged for 1 minor heat money, suitable for higher-level cultivators. Grain rain money is even more advanced. 10 minor heat money can be exchanged for 1 grain rain money, usually used by high-level cultivators, also for purchasing or exchanging precious magical treasures and resources. Golden essence copper coins are the highest value currency in the Sword of Coming economic system, far exceeding ordinary gold, silver, and other immortal money. Golden essence copper coins are divided into various types, including suppression money, welcoming spring money, offering money, etc. Each type has its special meaning and use. This currency system forms fixed exchange ratios. 1,000 taels of silver can be exchanged for 1 snowflake money, 100 snowflake money can be exchanged for 1 minor heat money, 10 minor heat money can be exchanged for 1 grain rain money. This linkage allows secular wealth to be converted into cultivator resources, and also allows immortal money to inversely affect the secular economy. This setting reflects the unfairness of resource distribution. Cultivators can obtain more resources, while mortals are relatively scarce, triggering thoughts about fairness and justice. After finishing the economic system, let's talk about the relationship between divine Tao and human Tao in Sword of Coming. In the ancient heavenly court period, the divine Tao ruled the world, and humans were kept as incense containers. The deities' Tao had limits, and their golden bodies would eventually decay, so they needed to continuously draw incense from humans to maintain their existence. This rule was essentially unsustainable. The swordholder spread cultivation methods to humanity, giving humans the possibility to challenge divine power. Eventually, humanity overthrew the divine Tao rule through the Ascension Battle. After the Ascension Battle, humanity established a new order, with the 3 teachings and 100 schools becoming important forces maintaining order. Confucianism emphasized rules and regulations, establishing the foundation of human order. Taoism pursued the Tao-following nature, providing another approach for human order. Buddhism emphasized cause and effect and reincarnation, suppressing the netherworld ghost Tao, providing guarantee for human order. Although the divine Tao rule was overthrown, remnants of the divine Tao still exist. The Bronze Heaven Lord, Old Man Yang, surrendered to humanity and was allowed to imprison himself in the Lai Pearl Cave Heaven, preserving and protecting the old heavenly court deities and their reincarnations. Old Man Yang's plot for divine Tao revival over several thousand years is an important foreshadowing in the Sword of Coming world. The game between divine Tao and human Tao continues. This setting reflects the importance of ruling legitimacy. Only rule that is recognized by the ruled is sustainable. The replacement of divine Tao by human Tao reflects the greatness of human value. Although humans are weak, they can change fate through effort. The existence of divine Tao remnants suggests that history may cycle. How to avoid history repeating itself is an important topic. Next, let's talk about the thought systems of the 3 teachings and 100 schools in Sword of Coming. Confucian thought is the core of Howard world. Confucianism takes benevolence, righteousness, propriety, wisdom, and trust as its foundation, emphasizing worldly responsibility. The sage of rituals establishes heavenly and earthly rules, restricting cultivators from indiscriminately killing mortals, maintaining order throughout the world. The second sage advocates that human nature is originally good, promoting benevolent government. The sage of literature believes human nature is originally evil and needs to be corrected through education and systems. Confucian thought has important significance for maintaining social order, but there is also the problem of excessively restricting freedom. Taoist thought is the core of King-Ming world. Taoism pursues the Tao following nature, advocates governing by doing nothing, believing the best governance is no governance, letting all things develop naturally. Taoist cultivation focuses on inner purity and enlightenment, improving realms through meditation and sitting. Taoist thought has important significance for personal cultivation, but there may be deficiencies in social governance. Buddhist thought is the core of Lotus World. Buddhism emphasizes cause and effect and reincarnation, advocates compassion, and promotes saving all sentient beings, helping others escape suffering. Buddhist cultivation focuses on inner enlightenment, understanding the mind, and seeing nature through meditation and scripture chanting. Buddhist thought has important significance for personal spiritual cultivation and can also maintain reincarnation order. Military school thought also has an important position in this sort of coming world. The military school focuses on solving problems through war and military force, pursuing victory on the battlefield, and powerful combat capabilities. Military school thought has important significance for war and defense, but overemphasizing military force may bring problems. The three teachings and 100 schools represent different schools of thought. This diversity is an important characteristic of the world. Chen Pingyan's cultivation path integrates multiple thoughts, demonstrating the possibility of thought integration. Thoughts need practice to test, and Chen Pingyan's growth is a practical test of various thoughts. Finally, let's talk about the philosophical core of the sort of coming worldview. Rules are the foundation for maintaining world order. Rules constrain behavior, maintain order, and protect the weak. Without rules, the world will fall into chaos. But excessive rules will restrict freedom and inhibit innovation. How to find balance between rules and freedom is an important topic. The human heart is the core theme of the sort of coming world. Human nature has both good and evil aspects. How to guide human nature toward good is an important topic. The human heart is changeable, affected by factors such as environment and experience. This change makes the world full of uncertainty. The Great Tao is the ultimate pursuit of cultivators. The Great Tao is the law of heaven and earth, the ultimate goal of cultivation. Different cultivation paths have different understandings of the Great Tao. The Great Tao needs practice to realize, and Chen Pingyan's growth is a practical realization of the Great Tao. The philosophical core of the sort of coming worldview is a comprehensive thinking about rules, human heart, and the Great Tao. Finding balance between rules and freedom, good and evil, ideals and reality, is the core wisdom of the sort of coming worldview. Chen Pingyan's growth symbolizes the process of humans finding balance and realizing themselves in a complex world. Although the world is full of challenges, hope always exists. This hope is an important core of the sort of coming worldview. All right, that's it for today's in-depth interpretation of the sort of coming worldview. The worldview of sort of coming is a grand construction of a xianxia epic. It's not just a story background, but a complete world system full of philosophical thinking. From the ancient heavenly court to the four great worlds, from the cultivation system to power distribution, from destiny porcelain to the sword key great wall, the worldview construction of sort of coming demonstrates the author's profound skill and unique thinking. This worldview has both the fantasy color of xianxia and the profound connotation of humanities, making it a peak work of contemporary online literature. Through in-depth analysis of this worldview, we can not only better understand the work's sort of coming, but also trigger thoughts about the real world. For example, topics like resource distribution, civilization conflicts, and personal responsibility can all find mappings in the sort of coming worldview. In the future, the worldview of sort of coming will continue to develop. The colorful five world, as a newly formed world, still has many unsolved mysteries worth further exploration. Old Man Yang's plot for Divine Tao revival is an important foreshadowing in the sort of coming world and may trigger new changes. The evolution of Yao-human relations will also affect the future direction of the sort of coming world. Thank you everyone for listening. If you have other content about sort of coming that you want to learn about, please leave a message in the comments section. See you next time.